Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Travel Plays YouTube channel. Today is Wednesday, November 6th, and we are back breaking down some more games in the NBA. Didn't have any action on Tuesday night because of the election, but we've got a ton of action to look at for Wednesday night. We're going to start with the Knicks going up against the Hawks, followed by the Magic going up against the Pacers. 4 total plays today, 2 player props, 2 game picks. Before that, let's take a look at the Monday picks really quick. We did have a pretty good day on Monday. We had a 3-1 day, and the Suns kind of screwed us on the last play of the day. It was kind of my fault as well. Paul George questionable coming in. Didn't think he was going to play. Ended up playing. Wasn't a massive impact, but he scored 15 points. 15 points the 76ers wouldn't have had if he wasn't on the floor. So Suns took that game by 2, lost the spread by a couple points. But the winners were Knicks and Rockets under the total points. We also had John Morant over 22.5 points. Had a great game against the Nets. And Jalen Suggs. Thought we were going to get screwed on this one. Over 16.5 points. Had, I think it was 14 or 15. And then he had a couple baskets at the end of the game against the Thunder to cover that spread. But it was late in the fourth quarter. They were down by 20. I thought they were going to pull them, but they did not. So glad that we hit the 3-1 day there. Kind of got on a little bit of a groove here, a little bit of a roll. 2 games above 500 now. Let's try to keep the ball rolling going into Wednesday night. Let's take a look at the Knicks going up against the Hawks. Both of these teams coming off of pretty bad losses. I only say that about the Atlanta Hawks because they lost by 30 points to the Boston Celtics. I think everybody would agree the Celtics should have won that game, but the Hawks didn't put up much of a fight. They lost by 30 points. They only scored 93 points in the game. And for the Knicks, they're coming off a bad loss on the road going up against the Rockets. They lost that game by double-digit points, also not scoring over 100 points. I think the best play in this game is going to be the Knicks -7. And I don't hate the under either, but I'm just going to play the -7. The New York Knicks this season, we have seen it multiple times already. They lost the opening day game against the Boston Celtics. They bounced back, winning by 25 the next game. Then they lost the Cavaliers in the next game. Then they went on the road, beat the Miami Heat by double-digit points. The trend is starting to form. I'm almost positive this was exactly what they were last season. Off of a loss, next game, this team finds a way to bounce back, and they typically do that with really good defense. They didn't play very good defense against the Rockets, even though they did hold them to 109 points. And I've said this a lot already. Coach Tibbs, he's going to be in his guys' asses over the next couple of days. They got Monday off. They got Tuesday off. They're on the road on Wednesday going up against the Hawks. This should be a massacre. It would be different if the Hawks were a good team, but they're not. This is not a good Hawks team. They're typically hovering around 500 every single year. Trae Young has been incredibly inconsistent to start the season. They don't play any defense, allowing the most points per game almost in the NBA. We're going to see great defense out of the Knicks. We're going to see bad team play out of the Hawks. Give me the Knicks here, -7 as the first play. For the next play, we're going to be looking at the Magic going up against the Pacers. And the Indiana Pacers, they're exciting to watch. They can put up a lot of points. It's the exact same team from last season. They can score the best of them, but they also give up a ton of points, beating the Boston Celtics, giving them their first loss of the season. So I do think this is a pretty good team. They've now put up 118-plus points in 3 consecutive games, and that is where I can stop explaining why I'm going to take the Pacers, because the Magic can't score 118 points. It's a short and sweet breakdown. I'm like a recorder. I've said this several times. Without their superstar on the floor, the Magic have scored 99 points, 109 points, 85 points, and 86 points. That is not going to win you any games. That's not good enough. That's not good enough offense. The Pacers' defense is weak, but it doesn't matter. I just don't think they can score 120-plus points because the Pacers can. The Magic can only do so much with that defense, and they've been playing good defense. I mean, give them credit. They gave up 108 points to the Mavericks, 102 points to the Thunder. Both of those games they should have won. They lost both of them by 16-plus points. Why? Because they can't score. Give me the Pacers -6 as the play until they figure something out. Let's go over to the player props for tomorrow. We're going to start with the Mavericks, and we're going to take Luka Doncic over 29.5 points. This one could be a little bit lower or a little bit higher, depending on how the book favors this tomorrow, but I'm going to take the over total points. It's been a fun ride for Luka ever since the start of November. He's played in 2 games against the Magic and the Pacers. He scored 32-plus points in both those games, almost had a triple-double in both those games as well. He's coming off a game against the Pacers, scoring 34 points, having 15 assists in the game. But I think the most impressive part of his game so far this season, or at least his last game, was getting himself to the free throw line. This is the easiest way to score points in the NBA. The refs typically have a pretty quick whistle, down low, especially with some of the best players in the NBA. In the last game against the Pacers, he only made 9 total field goals, but he scored 34 points, having 12 points at the line. He can do the exact same thing in this game with the Chicago Bulls, because the Bulls, they're going to foul you because they play sloppy defense. This is one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA so far, and Luka can take advantage of that on the inside. He can do that on the outside because he's been shooting the 3 ball a little bit better over the last couple of days as well. He's hitting 4+ threes in back-to-back games. Chicago is missing several players as well. I'm hoping that doesn't affect this game. Hopefully it's not a blowout, we do need Luka to play his entire minutes, but Chicago in the last game, with several players sitting, gave the Utah Jazz their first win of the season. They gave up 135 points. They gave up 120 plus points in back-to-back games against the Nets and the Jazz. Give me Luka. Big night here, over 29.5 points as the play. And for the last play, short, sweet, and to the point again, we're going to take Paul George over 16.5 points. I'm assuming it's going to be the same number it was last night going up against the Suns, so that's what I'm going to take. Apparently, Paul George is back. Hand up. I knew that he was questionable going into that game against the Suns, but he did play. He was a decent impact, 15 points, not a huge factor, but the 76ers still lost the game. The 76ers did look better as a team, so him being on the floor is going to help them out a lot. I don't know if they're going to be able to win this game, but I do think they're going to be better. And this 76ers team is going to continue to be without Joel Embiid because the NBA has suspended him 3 games, which he probably wanted because he doesn't want to play anyway, so he's probably smiling, still collecting that check if he still gets paid. You can't really suspend a player who doesn't want to be on the floor anyway, so I don't know what the purpose of the suspension was. And from the sound of it, looks like the reporter kind of deserved what happened to him. So I guess I'm on Embiid's side on that part. I still think he's being soft not playing. But anyway, going back to Paul George here, he's going to be going back to the Clippers for the first time since he was dealt to the 76ers. I did this with Tobias Harris with the Pistons to the 76ers in that last game. It worked out pretty well. I think Paul George has an emotional, motivational game here going up against his former team that he played with last season. I'll take his over 16.5 points as the final play of the night. Let's go to the recap graphic. We're going to be taking the Knicks -7. We got the Pacers -6. Love both those plays. Luka over 29.5 points. And then Paul George over 16.5 points going up against his former team. Guys, it's going to do it for the NBA plays and props for Wednesday, November 6th, late games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please share it, drop a like in this video, subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.